Hello class and professor. Jim Zimmerman for the last time for this class, Planning and Assessments for Laterno University. The lesson plan I'm going to do tonight hopefully is going to be a little bit easier to follow than the last lesson plan that I had. I kind of overthought things and made it a little too complicated, so what I did this time is I went onto the text website and gathered information on about 3 or 4 different lesson plans and took some ideas from these lesson plans to break things down pretty easy. So here we go. The lesson plan we're going to be doing is going to be 4th grade math. This is near and dear to my heart because I just had a 4th grader graduate into the 5th grade, so she gave me some wonderful ideas from some things that they were doing in their math class. This assignment is very easy to do. It is going to be on fractions. It is taken from, again, the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, which is TEX. It's 4th grade. It can be used up into 5th and possibly 6th grade. Basically what you're going to need for this is break your groups, break your classroom into groups. You're going to need for each group 100 pennies or something that represents 100 pennies. It doesn't necessarily have to be pennies. I know how that can be messy. You're going to need, depending on what you want to use for this assignment, we're going to use a mechanical pencil, a can of soda, candy bar, and a regular pencil. So what we need to do is have the kids divide into groups, have them divide the first group of pennies into 2 groups of 50 cents apiece. Again, you can have circular cutouts if you want to use those things for the pennies, depending on if your kids can use these or not. The concept is going to be covering fractions, percentages, monetary equals, and decimals. So this is a good lesson plan because it covers several different areas. It's a good discovery activity, but you need to be patient on it. Allow the students to flow with the lesson. Give them time to learn how to do it. A few of them might catch on early, a few of them might not. So that's the reason why you break them into the groups, because the other ones that catch on quickly can help them with it. So here we go. What you need to do is on a table in the front of the classroom is take your pennies and have 4 items that have a fraction of $1. To give you an example, the pencil, a regular pencil, which is about 1/10 of $1, and then a mechanical pencil should be marked about half of $1. Take the candy bar and mark that about 3/5 of $1, and then the can of soda, which is about 3/4 of $1. So you would have these fractions in front of the pencils and the items that you have chosen that you want to represent the dollar. So what you need to do is you need to ask the students, would you know the cost of these 4 items if you were using fractions instead of the dollar that was normally used? So what you do is you have them go back to their tables and ask the students how to describe what the tenths of the dollars would be. Excuse me. What you need to do is have the students divide the 100 pennies into 10 equal groups, how many pennies are in the group, so forth. So it's a continuously learning process for them to divide it into half, into tenths, and into fourths. So it plays on the decimal points to give them an idea. So the next thing you want to do is to find out for the children Uh, if you have 100 pennies, 1/10 of that would be equal to the pencil. How many pennies would be that for the 1/10? Obviously that would be 10 pennies. So what you need to do is you need to go around and check to make sure that the children are realizing what 1/10 of 100th is. So it gives them an idea of how to break it down. Of course, with tenths, it's pretty easy, and they should catch on pretty well. The other thing is, once you get past the half and the tenths, it gets a little complicated for them. It makes them think a little harder to give them an idea of, like, to reinforce what is another decimal for 1/2, which is 0.50, or it's 2/4. So this gives them an idea of different decimal points and different equations. Give the students about 5 minutes on each problem that you give them to figure out the problem. It should be fairly simple for them. Once they catch on, it's a wonderful thing to watch them do. You're going to have the students create fractions, decimals, and percentages equivalents. You need to have everyone write down what the decimal equivalents are. For example, if the candy bar is half $1, then you need to write 50 pennies equals 0.50. And again, depending on what type of materials that you're using, just make sure you use small materials that don't cost a lot of money. You don't want to get this too complicated because you don't want to get the children confused. This is also going to help them if some of the kids later will get allowances, be able to, for them to figure out things, what they can spend their money on. The sample closure statement that I like to use is that math is something that the children are going to be using pretty much every day of their life. It's very important for them to understand different parts of math, decimals, fractions, percentages, something they're going to use every day in their life. So start them young, get them involved in it, get them comfortable with it, and it will become an easier and easier task for them to do. The highlights of this is, of course, looking upon the kid's face when they actually realize that they've had that epiphany, that they understand what 1/10 is or what 3/5 is. It's a good learning tool. The kids love it, and you'll be able to use different things during the year. Some of the students will probably come up with some ideas of their own of different things that they can use. I hope the objectives have been very clear for them to learn as far as the percentages and the fractions to keep things pretty much well in line. Again, I want to thank the professor for being very understanding. Professor Schmidt, you have helped me tremendously through the past 5 weeks. I do appreciate your time. I do appreciate your efforts. I appreciate all the responses we've gotten on the discussion boards. It's been a real pleasure talking to all of you. I wish you all the best of luck in the opportunities that you have coming up. Remember to keep God first and always in your heart, and you will be tremendous teachers. I wish you all the best of luck. Take care.